Hello, welcome back to our professional roundtable by Arrows Education. It's always exciting to have a new professional among us to share his journey of being in the industry and how he get there, and what kind of education that he or she has gone through, and it's our goal to invite them so that he can share with us, and you as an audience would be able to capture all that and learn from their experience and pursue your own dreams of studying abroad. And this is the goal and aim of Arrows Education. We are a consultancy and an agency to help you realize your dream of studying abroad. And if we can have our screen show here, Arrows Education, we have our services covers about 30 over countries around the globe, and we are partner with over 2,500 institutions offering thousands of courses in all the fields, from K-12 to PhD, you name it, and you can have this dream of yours realized by studying abroad. And Arrows Education offers the most affordable support service in the industry. Basically, most of our consultation for you as a student is free. And so, uh, and yeah, we'll do our best to help you navigate through the difficulties of making decisions of where to go and what to go. We'll give you the latest information and we'll help you to get there. So if you like to realize your dream of studying abroad today, feel free to reach out to us and register with us, and visit um, all our social media accounts on arrowstransaction.com, and we'll have our consultants reach out to you as soon as we can. With this, I would love to introduce to you our guest today, Mr. Eason Neoh, who is a finance analyst and working in Intel today. And it's a privilege to have him on here. And he has many years of experience in the industry, in the finance field. Yeah, maybe I'll just let him introduce himself, right? And with this, I would like to invite, yeah. Hi, Mr. Eason. Welcome. Yeah. Would you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, Joash. Thank you for having me here. Yes, I'm Eason. Right now is working as a finance uh, FPnA team lead in Intel corporations. You may have heard of it when you open your computer. There's a sticker on your computer. That is the one. I worked there as team lead, but of course that said, I've been in Intel for almost 6 years actually. And previously, before I joined Intel Corporations, I worked as an external auditor in KPMG. You may have heard of it. Those that accounting or the auditing backgrounds, you definitely know that. And prior to that, I study in college and university. And that say, I started off locally in Thar College in Penang. And then after I completed my diploma, I started out pursuing a professional study called ACCA. But I did not complete that because I'm doing that to pursue a degree program. And after that, then I started working as an external auditor.
Right. And so this is interesting, right? For your journey from Tunku Abdul Rahman College, and you pursue that your foundational study before you
Diploma, yeah.
diploma, yes,
Yeah.
and you go into um, Oxford Brookes University pursuing an applied accounting degrees there. And now with that degree, you have put to good use, and having a role in Intel as a team lead in in your sales general and administration, finance planning analysis team lead as well. So yeah, and it's such a privilege to have you sharing your journey today. But maybe the first question that we have for you, what inspired you to pursue a degree in applied accounting? Yeah, and what's your experience studying in Oxford Brookes University?
And I would like to add to that, if you wouldn't mind defining what applied accounting is. I'm familiar with accounting, but what's applied accounting? I'm sure many
Yeah.
of our viewers will be interested in knowing what that is.
Yeah, that, there's a lot of questions to unpack. Let me start off with how why I was interested to study in accounting. It started off as me humbly working to sell a cupboard store to do to work as a salesman. When I was 16, worked for my uncle auntie. They run big corporations. I was sitting in the store and looking into the office, looking at the accountant sitting in the aircon room. I thought that was such a nice job to work in. I knew nothing. I wish I would have known aero education earlier, right? Back in the days, there's nothing, no such. I knew nothing about what to study in future. So, just looking at what is most convenient to understand. That's where I started off. Okay, I should study accounting. I love math, but I dislike science. So it all started off with I have to study accounting, and of course, along the journey, it slowly took me to pursue and work as an external auditor uh, I have a brother who studied accounting 4 years ahead of me. So I also learned a little bit on how the path could be. Yeah, and
Mm.
to proceed to your
Applied
questions,
accounting.
apply accounting. What generally the idea is to put accounting. So the way how the course was framed, as far as I understand, they're trying to frame how we can to use accounting and finance knowledge to apply in a real world scenario. So in the study, one of the core study in Oxford University for applied accounting, one of the course that we have to complete is to provide an insights evaluation to company, not just to learn accounting. It's about learning how to apply and to evaluate how and perhaps sometimes even give an analysis uh to evaluate whether a company is doing well or not. So that's where the key name I believe is coming from. They never told me whether applying accounting means that, but from the course that I studied, yes, it they emphasize a lot on that. Yeah.
Mm. So it sounds like to me like when you study
Mm.
applied accountings and as you come out of it, it's slightly different from what a traditional accountant would be, right? Would you call yourself an accountant? And how does that work?
Yeah, it's a good question. So right now I'm in Malaysia. In for Malaysia, in order for one person to call himself accounting, he has to be qualified and gain a membership under MIA. It's actually a uh accounting. I think that's called accountancy act, something like that. That's
Mm.
run is established by a government body. So anyone who call himself accountant, he has to have MIA membership in Malaysia. For me, because
MIA standing for Malaysian Institute of
Malaysia
Accountants.
accountancy,
Institute of
yeah,
Accountancy or something.
Mm.
yeah. That's because I do not have that membership, so I cannot qualify myself as an accountant. At best, I can only call myself finance analyst, finance manager, finance director, but never an accountant. Yeah.
Okay. And to be a member of MIA, do you have like as an applied accounting, can you actually apply to be a member of MIA, or is it the reason why you don't have that is because applied accounting doesn't lead you there?
Yeah, it's in order to gain a membership from MIA, you have to be either there's a list. I'm not sure whether they change it over the time, but usually they have a professional certification like ACCA, CPA, other etc. And with a specific either you have to get through experience, which is a qualified experience under the criteria from set by MIA or local university in Malaysia. that there's a list of courses such as accounting under local universities. The definition of local university, right now we're in Malaysia, so I'm talking about local
Sure, university.
Malaysia, yeah, local university. So the list of the university and the professionals qualification, we have to be under that list with a specific uh, industrial experience,
Mm,
or you have to take an additional exam run by MIA, then you can gain a membership. I did
okay.
none of this, yeah, other than having a bachelor degree.
All right. So it is important for our audience to know then if you aspire to be a licensed or a recognized accountant in your country, I think it's important to understand to find out what are the recognized courses that you need
Yes,
to take in order to qualify to be a member of the Institute of Accountants in your country. I
correct.
think those information should be available on their website, or you may consult Arrows Education to help you to figure these things out. And we have very qualified consultants to help you answer those questions as well. And so, but it looks like even without this recognition from Malaysia Institute of Accountants, you're doing quite well yourself, right? But during your studies, right, what are some of the biggest challenges that you face during your studies? What are biggest
Do you mean
challenges?
when you say the biggest challenge as in the path to complete a degree program, or do you mean the
I don't know when
syllabus?
Or
you're in, sorry,
as
yeah,
a student, students
as a student.
always have
As the
problems and
students,
challenges.
yes, yes. There's, I think modern student, we have too much distractions in general, and that was even the time when smartphones first launched. Right? Uh, but that say the one to start. I think one of the things that as a student, people lost interest to learn because they don't know why they learn. I think that's the one of the key thing that I noticed. When I study, there will always be people who study very hard, or people who don't quite care. They just want to pass, right? And oftentimes I always hear peers say, I don't know why we studied that. We won't use that in future, but I tell you, maybe they haven't have a chance to use it. So but that say those are the challenges, environment challenges that modern day students have. Give I think it's important for us as a students to always have the aim to learn, to study, to learn, to prepare ourselves, to imagine ourselves, to as if you're gonna practice it tomorrow, apply it tomorrow. You're gonna ask the lecturer, say, what does it mean in the real world to practice this? Yeah. So I think this is one of the things people lost focus on, why purpose of why they're learning. The second thing is, I think, is as a students, uh I struggle with finances. It's funny that we study accounting and finance, but we struggle with finances because we we lack of funding. That's a so that's also a challenge, at least for me, to really do between study hard, spend most of my time committing on my full time study, at the same time doing the part time to finance myself to make sure that I can go through that. So that's the biggest struggle I see, two big struggles that I see during my study.
Hmm.
So, are you trying to say you had to work during the time you were studying?
Yes, I had to work part time just to finance those living expenses.
Like, how many
Hmm.
hours do you normally work, and how did that affect your study?
Yes, I usually work about 20 to 30 hours a week, 20 to 30 hours a week, giving that was kind of only support living expenses. And what happened is, uh because we also have exam seasons where I have to take extra
Time. Oh,
hours to study. Yeah.
yeah.
So that's where I have to break through. During my first 10 weeks of working, I need to prepare for the coming 3 weeks the,
Okay.
during the final exam season. Yeah, those kind of things.
So
Uh,
still on that, how will you advise? Maybe you can share your experience of how you navigated that. Like, when do you go to class? When do you go to work? And what kind of
mm,
job do you do? How do you
mm,
manage your timing and
yeah,
sleeping and socializing and yeah.
uh, yeah, it's you see, you get study, sleep, work, right? Study, sleep, work, and socializing. So I think we need to put through the priority, right? For me, socializing be like at the bottom. Uh, it's like because frankly, if I have to sacrifice one, I have to sacrifice the one that won't impact me for graduating uh with a high better grade, right? That I put on the priority on that. So I have to sacrifice a lot of social time and sacrifice sleep time, yes. But that's one of the things that I figured out late, by the way. I figured out late is trying to look for a job that pay you high hour. Right?
Mm,
If I work as an conveniently as a waiter, yes, I it's easy to get
just get by.
hours for dinner time, day by. Short hours working because we can work for only for dinner time. You can make up the hours, but the hours per the dollar per hour is not high. So maybe, uh, which is I could have switched it over to a sales promoter job over the weekend, which pay highest per hours, which can help me a lot. But I did that late in my semesters to quit as a waiter and work as a sales promoter during the weekend. So that
Okay.
would help navigate through the difficulty of low per hour rate. Mm.
Okay. So when you were speaking, you said something about students thinking that this doesn't really work. So I want to take
Mm.
you up on that because I still remember, even today, I usually feel like some of the things I learned during my undergraduate days were just a waste of my time. Like, for for example, who does trigonometry in real life? Who does calculus in real life? So I feel like, hey, why are you wasting my time teaching me calculus and trig? I could spend that time doing something more reasonable. So do you feel like everything you learned in school is useful, or some of them are just a waste of precious time?
Yeah, I think it's a very good questions. There are courses, there are subjects that the school sometimes have to put it in for the sake of maybe the local policies. Like we have to learn some kind of history. In my accounting diploma in accounting, but I have to study some kind of Malay Malay language history, and some kind of religious history. So to me, that was not related to my job. But there are something like what you say, right? Statistics. Uh, what do you call that? Trigonometry. Just now you
Trigonometry.
mentioned
Trigonometry.
trigonometry. That was in high school, right? I learned that was I although I aced it, but I figured my teacher always told me that they say, oh, it's not for you to apply, it's for to train your brain. So they give us a reason why you should learn that. So I think just the lecture is I hope my lecturer will tell me better to say why I should learn it, or else just tell me not just get the pass. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I would say at least for accounting industry in my diploma and degree, I would say 80 to 90% was so important. Yeah. And some of those subject that I thought it was not important, like studying this basic of IT, I thought it was useless. until I enter into multinational company, it become a big thing because it would shape us why we need to learn it. Those kind of subjects sometimes we thought we won't use it, but sometimes you'll come back and remind you how important it is.
Yeah. At, yeah, what advice do you have for students, right, when they are going into university, revolving about money, like working while studying really a good idea? Yeah, what are some of the advice you can have for them?
If I have a choice, I hope I don't have to work. That's my honest feedback. If there's an opportunity that, or there's a, if situation allowed, try not to work. You will have enough time to work after you graduate for the rest of our life, if you will. Uh, so just focus to learn, because actually student has a full-time job, which is studying.
Hmm.
Take serious time to study and to learn, not just on the academy, on the hard skill, also on the soft skill side, that will prepare you to go into industry. That's so crucial. If I have a chance to not work, I will invest myself to learn more soft skills and other skills, to prepare myself. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. So this is good
Can I
advice. Yeah.
add something before we leave that question? Um,
Yeah.
because when you think about experience, gaining experience, especially experiences like developing teamwork skills, learning to take instruction, learning to deal with workplace politics, little
Hmm.
experiences like that. By the time you graduate from the university completely fresh, only full-time studentship is what you have in your bag, I think it may be challenging, especially
Mm,
when prospective employers see your CV and see that, hey, all you did was go to class and come back from class and
mm,
no experience dealing with the real world.
mm.
Because even
Yeah.
as a student, yeah, you still need that experience when you get back out there in the real world. In the real world, you will have to have a lot of different portfolios. You can't choose to be working for your employer alone. You still have to manage so many social stuff. You have community services, whether in church or in the major local secular community. You are a husband, you are a father, you are so many things at the same time. So I think
Mm,
that might be a good experience for students to also put in their makes your CV looks better.
Hmm.
mm. Yeah, it's just chipping on that. If there's opportunity, I think doing internship in a corporation, it would be nice. I mean, given that if I knew that I would graduate to work in the accounting industry, I mean, take the sem break to work as a free intern
Yeah,
a, for an audit firm. That would be so good. Yes, I think
that's a
that's a
very
good one.
Yeah.
volunteering.
Great. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. I think the money issue has always been on the hearts of a lot of our audience. But we also have to look into like what does our education prepare us for
Mm.
in our future career as well. And in your career path has been an interesting journey for you. What kind of skills and qualification do you think is essential for maybe somebody who is inspired to follow your pathway, right? And maybe before that, briefly explain to us a bit of your career pathway. Like what kind of roles have you played along the way?
Yeah. So I started off my first accounting related work as an external auditor. So I worked for as a auditor, and of course that's it. Whatever we learn in accounting thing, we actually apply in work. And after that, we and I soon noticed that there are a lot of technical skills that we have to go on the job to start to learning, like learning how to operate effectively in a spreadsheets. That you have to learn through while you work, right? Of course, a lot of these days you have AI to help you to learn quicker. So I think that will be the advantage that people modern new those new students who just fresh in the work will be super helpful. Leverage that to learn. And after sorry, I started off with an external auditor and then slowly become a lead, and then I quit as an external auditor, joined as a close and automation leads in Intel. So basically help people to close account and help people automate the processes, and also help to build up the team to work effectively. And not just about me working alone effectively, it is about also leading the team to be effective. And then after that, I transitioned my role as a cost specialist. So basically, works a lot of mathematics, statistics, and costings in that such a world. And then most recently, right now, I work as a FPnA. Basically, FPnA, well, for layman term, we manages budgets for company. So that's primarily what I do. I manage budgets, give insights to my boss or my stakeholders on how they're gonna navigate through a given budgets while excellence and providing the services to support operations. Yeah, that's where I am. So, sorry, you were saying what skill again? What was the
Yeah, what
question
kind of
again?
skills and qualification essential?
Oh, yes. I think for hard skills, yes, accounting degree would help you to put and give you an entry to start a role. But as if we continue want to be specialized in accounting, you may want to consider to complete a professional certificates like ACCA or CPA. Those those qualifications would help you to advance deeper in technical accounting knowledge. If we would like to deep into accounting world, auditing world, or taxation world, that's where people tend to pursue. But of course, you switch to commercial as a local finance accounting world, or in a big company, that's where the game would be different, would look different as you go into different departments. Like when I was in auditing world, accounting knowledge is super critical. It's not so much about leaderships, not so much about process improvement because things just work where it is. As you move into a multinational company or even in a local company, people want to improve their workflow over the time. That's where project management come into place. That's where your knowledge on how to make use of the latest automation tool to help your company to advance uh, become very crucial. And of course, along the way, continuous learning helps me a lot to adopt as my role change, because the skills that we learn today will help you to thrive today in this role. But if you plan to climb higher or in a different departments, where that's where you need to reshape and relearn to meet that skill sets and continue to contribute to the departments. So
Mm,
those are the parts that I always keep doing.
yeah. What are some of the tools or skills that you kind of picked up as you work instead of something that you picked up from university?
Oh, I learned, when I first started as an external auditor, one of the things that I spent a lot of my time is just to do well in spreadsheets, Excel spreadsheets. You have to do it so well, so fast that the work that we do will become very effective. Instead of, I still remember the first time when my first week in company, I spent half a day just to add up one cell by one cell. The cell number one add up cell number two, cell number three, cell number four. But at the end, I still add it wrong because I add it manually, as in the wrong way, most least effective way. You see, but CD is laughing. That's a we have to uh, I learned from Excel spreadsheet was the first time that I spent a lot of time learning. But slowly, and as I because I love it so much, it's that it become it turned into my passions to learn, and subsequently helps me to triumph in my next role in Intel. And if you look at uh a little bit about his history of accounting world, finance world, we have moved from paper 40 years ago to Excel spreadsheet 30 years ago, and now in about 10 years, 15 years ago, uh, business intelligence tool like Power BI would become a new data visualization to help company to work effectively. And of course, most recently, AI become another next wave that people should pursue to work effective and to help company to provide helpful insights to make important decisions. So those are the key tool that I learned over the years.
Yeah.
So let me quickly ask, if someone doesn't love mathematics, do you think they can do accounting? Would they survive?
Well, I think it made a hard start. It make a very difficult start. But uh, when we always believe that people who are good in math would be a good accountant. It's not necessarily true. But it of course, these days computer play a big role in doing the add, doing the sum, doing the multiplication for us. But people who is bad in math, I notice also can be a good finance manager, as in they know how to remember simple things, but it's super insightful, super critical to solve the company issues. But they are bad in math. They ask the analyst to do it. They don't have to be good at it, but it make a tough beginning, right? And not just a hard skill they need to master on the mathematics and accounting skills. And I noticed that there are times accountants are good in remembering why this and that is categorized in that. Like asset is why they are assets. It's not about how much one plus one equal to two because the computer does the job. So they just need to know, like a lawyer. In this situation, this is called a car. It's not called as expenses, stuff like that. And as long as but they are hard for at the start, but subsequently as they pursue the knowledge, they can still, I believe, they can still be a good accountant. It's just that the start could be discouraging at times.
Yeah. I think it eventually just still boils down to how flexible a person is, right? In their skill set. Like whether they're willing to learn, and willing to work through some of the difficulty. Because none of us starts off with really good with math, right? We may have some certain affinity to it, but there are skills that you can pick up along the way. But that being said, if you already know that your math is terrible right now, maybe you should really put in the effort to suffer right now than to suffer
Yeah,
later.
Or
yeah,
find a
yeah.
different profession?
Yeah, you don't
Yeah,
have to only do accountant, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so like we have technologies right now to be able to help us in a lot of things that accountants do. And Dr. Bosedi, it seems like the topic of AI never really left any of our professional roundtable. It's
no, we are
always been
coming to it.
mentioned.
We are definitely coming to it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. It's
So
a very big thing. Yes.
yeah, so I know that I didn't prep you for this, but what do you think of AI in your line of career? Dr. Bosedi's favorite question to all of us is, do you see AI taking over your job, and how does that impact you?
Well, that's a good questions. Yeah, since 20 years ago, 30 years ago, when Excel spreadsheets first introduced, supposedly replace our accounting journal from a paper. Supposedly, a lot of people should lost job, but you actually have more accountants appear after that. And Power BI, those business intelligence tools, Python, with Power BI or other Tableau, when it first introduced about 15 years ago, a lot of people also quite worried that they may lost their job. But no, this people are still trying for them. I think the same thing will apply to AI.
Sure.
Because company is never enough with good tool and good people. Right? I think those who don't adopt may have at the risk of being left out and in industry, because at the end, uh, someone need to make sure that the AI is doing the right job. Right? We can build an AI and just leave it as it is, and we walk away assuming the AI will work perfectly over 10 years and nothing would happen. It just doesn't quite work that way. Right? We need someone to be able to train it. With that say, I don't see AI is gonna take over our job. In fact, if the one who adopt AI may stay on a job in long run. Uh, uh, that's how I see it. I still remember I s- I I remember there's one consultant told me that he ran a hospitals consultancy, that he said the auntie who start learning vacuum when vacuum was first introduced in industry, uh, the auntie who learn vacuums stays in the job. The auntie who still want to use the broom, I don't know where they are, but that's that's where we are today. If so, I see it's an opportunity for us to actually triumph through AI actually.
I think before we leave there, I always have this issue. The way technology disrupts the social scene and different fields, it's over the years, over the decades, what we've seen seems completely different from what AI is doing. AI is not just helping to do certain things. AI is completely revolutionizing the way everything is done. And every time I think about it, I hear this, especially when I speak with teachers generally, it will always be there is no way AI can replace us. It's just going to do like what it when calculator came and then we stopped using four-figure table and things like that. But somehow, with what I'm seeing, like you said, AI cannot be left alone to do certain things. I can assure you, AI is being left alone to do even the most sensitive things right now. The best surgeon right now is an AI that does, like the highest precision kind of surgery that no human being can do is done by an AI. So if you will leave a whole human being to AI to do surgical operations on them, I think it's a matter of time before they get trained
Mm,
with enough data to be able to do so many things that they can't do
mm,
now. Think
mm,
just about ChatGPT for a change. When ChatGPT came newly, I think in 2023 or 22, if I still remember, there were so many mistakes, so many things that it cannot do. But today, I needed to do a kind of mind map yesterday. It was an assignment from a course that I'm doing. And I sat down and I was like, seriously, how am I going to do this assignment? It was just too much. So I said, okay, what's the point? Let me try with ChatGPT. And I went to ChatGPT. I said, hey, I need to do this this mind map. This is what I'm thinking. Can you try to generate the answers first? Then we see what we can do with it. And so he did it. And then he's asking me, okay, I'm going to give you the details. Then you can go to Canva and do the design. I said, no, I don't want to do design in Canva. I want something that's already done. Then I remember whimsical diagrams in ChatGPT. I just went there, I get the same instruction that I gave to ChatGPT. I gave it to Whimsical Diagrams, and it came out with a fantastic, beautiful mind map, which I submitted.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
when I look at that and what we can do 4 years ago and what we can do today, I think of 10 years ahead, and I think we'll be able to leave AI alone to do things.
Mm. Mm.
So the idea of, oh, somebody will still have to supervise AI may not really, and even if someone needs to supervise AI, then we're going to have one person doing the job of 10 or 20 or
Yep.
100 persons.
Yeah. Yep. That's right.
So what will happen to the rest of them? And then, so that will lead me to my question to you. What do you think people should start doing right now, especially people in your field, to prepare themselves for 10 years, 15, 20 years time?
You know, in interestingly, in our industry, um, in tech industry, we always pursue and believe that the 99, the imaginary 100,
Yeah.
the one who
Okay.
supervised at the 99. Yeah. We always think of we will be the one as we continue to learn. Yeah. Because if even if imagine if we if at the end of the day, let's say hypothetically, if they really be the one versus the 99, it's important for the 99 to remember that that if this will happen, it is inevitable. If hypothetically it will happen. So what happened is we should always aim to be the one, learn like to be the one. But when it happens, the 99s would have to go to somewhere else. You have to go to the new company and start and be the one because you have already possessed the knowledge of learning to be like the one. So go to a new company, contribute again, run and run it in such a help the organization to be so efficient that you can help your company to retain yourself as the one. And then of course it could be another 99. Just keep it going. The I I I won't exclude the fact that it's very much possible. Maybe what the one day would come. But I always want to pursue and always tell, um, don't have to look back and be afraid to be one of the 99. As you, we need to strive to be the one, to learn our best, perform our best. When time comes, if we are the 99, we can go to other company and still be the one. Continue. So, but
Mm.
most importantly, have we even tried to be the one? Or else we, yeah, or else we, unfortunately, we will just be wait we are just counting down to be left in the game. Yeah.
Yeah, I think what we probably would expect to see in finance and accounting field is
Mm.
that because of the appearance of AI, emergence of AI, I think in a very traditional sense, like the whole finance and accounting field would look very different. Like what we would consider as a traditional accountant would now do a
Mm.
job
Change.
that 10 years ago, 20 years ago, the accountant cannot recognize what you're
Mm.
doing, right? They used to they
Mm.
used to roll out big sheets of spreadsheets and put numbers in there, and and
Mm.
our and our generation is just looking at a small 24-inch monitor, right?
Mm.
And if we look in the future in the 20 years and somebody who calls themselves an accountant or a finance analyst, um, they may have the same title, but they would be doing completely different work from
Mm.
us,
Yeah.
simply
Mm.
because the tools are there. And I think the mindset of um, I think it's good to have the mindset that AI is not going to replace us in the job, but there is a caveat in there, right? You kind of have to keep moving. If you
Exactly.
stop moving, you're the one who gets washed out and gets washed away. I think it should come that, hey, AI is not going to replace us, but I'm going to learn how to adopt that, and I'm going to
Mm.
learn how to um, figure out, like, if AI can do this job, what are the gaps that AI cannot do? That's where I come in. and I'm going to learn how
Mm.
to fill up that gaps and keep myself create values for myself out
Mm.
there. I feel like for somebody who say AI is going to replace us, the mindset is going to be very important. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
And talking tools before we leave AI alone.
Yeah.
I was speaking with one professor in the US yesterday.
Mm.
He's been trying to find a job. He got to the US newly, and he made a statement. He said, there is another one of my friends who just came in. He already has a very nice job. Why? Because he learned they are in the same field. He said, but he learned all the softwares useful in our field before he came in. So as soon as he came, he got a job. For him, because he wasn't familiar with any one of those tools, he's still trying to look around, trying to see how he can train himself. So, in terms of accounting, what are the major tools that you can advise someone who intends to go in that field or who is already in the field and trying to prepare themselves to be the one? What tools or what softwares do you think they should focus on?
I
Maybe
heard
that's a
Microsoft Excel just now. I heard Excel spreadsheet just
No
now.
way.
Other than that,
No
what else?
way.
that's that's a good start. Yeah, that's a good start. It depends on whether there's a. So assume if we have a student, uh, the answer to a student, and answer to a 5 years seniors, and the answer to a 10-year managers are different. So, but all of them, three of them share the same tool that they have to learn. Is today, if you if we do not know how to ask good questions uh, to AI, and I think we call it prompt engineering. You make sure that you know how to prompt it to respond to your questions. So I think AI prompt engineering is very crucial for all the levels, right? Whether you're a fresh grad, seniors, or director, you have to know it to stay on top of performance. I think that's important. And if we are uh as a basics, most starters should all at least know how spreadsheet work or data works. The data will how I think it is important the for the hard skill. Maybe we start off with tool. We say AI tool and spreadsheets, finance tool or business intelligence tool like Power BI or Power Query or Python is a bit harder, but those are the industry that they do. Or Tableau, those are the top few things that industry is currently actively still using. Yeah, and of course, if you are very good in this, then uh, there's another skill sets that I found it fascinating to be a most important skill of all is to be uh data literacy. Right? Yeah,
Data
to
literacy.
data literacy. Yeah, is to be able to understand how data works in corporate world. Even in statistic that we publish in the national statistics, right? People would need to understand how the data works and what does it mean. Because in accounting, it's not enough to know how much dollar we have in the pocket. It's important to know how we can best use that dollar for our future. So that is very critical.
Yeah. I guess as an employer, for example, if my boss is gonna ask me like, hey, how much money, like what's our financial condition of a company? I think our bosses is not just looking for numbers, it's not just us telling like
Mm,
this is how much we have. He's also looking for like insights like, are we on the healthy side? Are we not on the healthy side? And what can I do with the money? Which are the
mm,
areas that what kind of trends are we looking at? What are the best
mm.
product that we're selling that probably we should focus on? What should we let
Yes,
go and things like this? So I'm guessing that these are things that you would actually
yes,
have to provide. Yeah.
yes. And but to be able to arrive that, or that's a very good example. Yeah, to even to arrive that, to the knowledge of how to maneuver in the organization to come up with the data to communicate the idea of we have a problem or we have an opportunity. That is important, because if we do not have that data literacy in our head of the mind, it just doesn't work. You can read all the number, it's just number to you. It just doesn't mean anything. Yeah.
Yeah. So how do we gain this data literacy? Study.
Uh, Study, listen to your statistics teacher and ask them. But other than that, I think it's important that these days, I think a lot of channels that teaches us freely on YouTube's and LinkedIn. That's where if you look for a free training, those are the free and available for you to learn that. And of course, if I believe these days universities should be conscious about this such a industry trend that data literacy is so important. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a key thing that I think we should master as a finance analyst or accountant.
Great. Yeah. And yeah, thank you for all these insights, right? And just sharing with us like what are the skills that we need to pay attention to while we're pursuing this in the university, and the fact that there are also a lot of free resources that's available online. Make full use of them. And these are we have also listed some of these useful tools and softwares that you should learn in your free time instead of just playing your games. Spend some
Yes.
time learning how to code and how to make use of these tools. Besides that, I think what advice, right, would you give to a students and young professional who are interested in finance and accounting? What should they look forward to in the next, say, 4 years, right? And I assume the climate of finance and accounting will look a bit different 4 years by the time they graduated. What are some advice you can have for them?
Maybe I can
I think
add. Let me
yeah.
add something to that so you can take it together. Like, what are the few things that you wish you had known at the very beginning of your career that maybe you could have done things differently, but you got to know much later, and then if you could redo things, you would have loved to redo that part. Yeah.
Mm. I I I wish I was more open uh to be humble, to know that I don't know everything. When we first graduate, especially if you are fairly good grades or you work really hard in your study, you take pride in something. You are prepared to come. But I wish I would have known that I'm not perfect, and continuous learning is very key to sustain, no matter what stages we're in, whether we are fresh grad or we are director or manager in future. Right? That's that's the thing that I need to learn. I wish I would have thought about that a little bit more. Yeah. And also I think soft skills development is very important. Yeah. And it's not just about doing our job well. It's doing our job well and bringing the team, the overall culture to be uplifting and continue to thrive together. And that's very important, because to be good is not good enough. To be good and better with the team, bring the team up. I think that would be favorable in long run, right? Because we as a employer, I think we always look for someone who we can just let them be, and they will just triumph and make my company great. But who is gonna be the candidate, right? Every candidate need to be have that kind of great soft skill, uh, great teamwork, great soft skills, and always be ready to learn and transform. Yeah, these are the part where I learn it in a hard way in at the start of my career.
Mm.
And then you
Right.
also made mention of something at the beginning about the fact that you didn't know I mean, it wasn't like you knew anything about being an accountant, than you saw someone who was an accountant. I mean, if you could have had maybe some counseling, some serious counseling, because sometimes in the course of
Mm.
our careers, we find out along the way that I'm actually better at this thing than this thing. But then you are already in
Mm.
a particular career. Many of the people that have been on this professional roundtable, they have crossed, I mean, they have gone from one extreme career to another extreme. Like I think we met someone with Josh a few days back. She's going to be on the session sometimes in the future. She studied architecture, but today she's doing sales or something something related to finance. Yeah, so it's been a very very big shift. So
Mm,
if you were to have had counseling, and if you were to have considered your skills, your interest
mm.
at the time you were going to go to study, do you think you would have considered accounting? If not, what would you have considered?
Oh, that's a very good question. I wish I would have met you earlier, Mercedes. Josh. That's that's I I came late to know and say maybe I could have pursued actuarial science. That's one of the paths that I came to know quite late. Um, Maybe um, IT. That's another path that I may consider. Yeah, I might have crossed to different paths like actuarial science and IT. These are the two industry that I see I might have to land there if I have consulted some kind of educations, counseling, be more open my mind to see there's not just one person behind me in the office. There are a lot of things that I never know exist. I never even know. I know science. I know doctor, but I never heard about actual scientist. What does it mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know computer, but I never know there's an IT guy who does all the coding happens behind the scenes and make all these things happen. Never heard of that. But I came to know it 5 years ago. Yeah, I was already like halfway through my life. Though. I'm not going back. So yeah, this I wish I would have known it earlier. So if you saw at times look for Dr. Basidis.
Yeah. That's true though. Like
You
sometimes
know, the fun, yeah, the
you
funny
don't
thing
have the
about it,
privilege of you don't really have the privilege of having um,
No.
somebody who has been through all this and putting all the information together for
Mm,
you and to help you explore through all your options. And
mm,
that's what Arrow Education strives to help you to do. Um, and yeah, we bring in the latest and greatest available opportunities for you. We lay it out in front of you and we work that through with you so that you have the best chance at realizing your dream.
making an informed decision about your career. Yeah. It's
Exactly.
one of the reasons why I'm also passionate about this, because I'm in the field of IT in education right now. But you know, it's interesting. I came from a background of chemistry. I have a bachelor's and master's in chemistry. And then some 25 years later, I crisscrossed to a completely different field. And someone was asking me, yes, okay, the lady from architecture, when I asked her, do you miss architecture? She said, no, I wouldn't even trade it. And then she turned around to me and said, do you miss chemistry? I said, definitely no, I don't. Yeah, so I think being getting this kind of information is very useful. I think if I had that opportunity when I finished high school and I was going to university, I would not have wasted a breath on chemistry. I would have gone to study education or maybe IT or something. Yeah, maybe I would have gone for one of those.
Yeah. Yes, amazing. And so information is key to your success, and you can get that for very affordable prices, and even free from Arrows Education, right? And with that, I would love to thank Mr. Eason Neoh for joining us today, and has been a really great session, and such a privilege to interview you. And thank you for sharing your experience, and I'm pretty sure he has encouraged a lot of our audience. And we will continue to do this every Wednesday, either with a live chat with Arrows Education or a professional roundtable for your benefit, so that we can be and you can make the best informed decision as well. Yeah, and okay, if we can have the information put up on the screen here, um, please reach out to us. We would love to help you dig deeper into your options and into your future. Help you navigate through uh, all these different kind of confusions that you may have. Um, and yeah, just lay down all the options we have for you, and based on your qualification and all the advantages available to you, we will be happy to point you at the right direction at the shortest path possible. And so, with this, we would like to close this time of professional roundtable. And please stay tuned and subscribe to us on all our channels, so that you may be informed of our next session again. I think this coming Saturday we have a special seminar online as well. Specifically, let me pull that up. Um, I'm so sorry. Hold on. Yeah, maybe Dr. Bosetti, if you have that information, would you share with us?
Let
I
me
think
check.
it's yeah, this coming Saturday. Sorry, yeah, this coming Saturday we have a session on navigating studying in US in Trump's regime. What are some of the available? Because Trump pretty much changes a lot of things in the whole world right now, and especially the education scene. But we have the latest news for all of you. So join us this Saturday, Malaysian time at 3 p.m. And 8 a.m. in West African time, Saturday. And we have information for you on tuition fees, student loans, what does it mean studying there, and some of the visa concerns that you have. We will share that with you. And if you have questions, feel free to ask us. Yep. And so we'll see you this Saturday. And thank you very much for joining us. And see you again. Goodbye.
Thank you very much.